long before humans ever walked the earth, before the first cities were built, before our oceans even looked the way they do today. This planet was ruled by giants. For an incredible stretch of over 160 million years, dinosaurs were the undisputed masters of the land, sea, and sky. Some were gentle giants, peacefully grazing on prehistoric flora. Others were perfectly designed killing machines, apex predators at the top of a brutal food chain. This is the story of how dinosaurs conquered the earth, how they lived, how they fought, and ultimately, how they vanished in one of the most cataclysmic events our planet has ever witnessed. Welcome to Mind Shock Vaults. Our story begins around 230 million years ago, during a geological chapter known as the Triassic period. The Earth back then was an alien world. All the continents we know today were fused together into one colossal supercontinent called Pang. The climate was hotter, drier, and the stage was set for a new kind of life to emerge. It was in this environment that the first dinosaurs appeared. They weren't the titans we often imagine. Many started out as small, nimble creatures, but they had an evolutionary advantage. As millions of years ticked by, Pangea began to break apart, creating new environments and new challenges. Dinosaurs adapted and diversified with breathtaking speed. They evolved into thousands of distinct species, filling every ecological niche imaginable. Their sizes ranged from hunters no bigger than a chicken to creatures so colossal they defy belief, larger than anything that has ever lived on land. This wasn't just an era, it was the age of dinosaurs. When we think of dinosaurs, we think of size, and for good reason. The sauropods, a group of long-necked four-legged herbivores, grew to proportions that are almost impossible to comprehend. Imagine an animal like Argentinosaurus or Patagonaton. These behemoths stretched longer than a professional basketball court and weighed over 70 tons. That's heavier than a dozen elephants combined. How did they get so big? A combination of factors, a nutrient-rich environment, a highly efficient breathing system similar to modern birds, and a continuous growth rate throughout their lives. Despite their intimidating size, these giants their incredibly long necks were evolutionary marvels, allowing them to reach high into the canopies of ancient forests, accessing vegetation that no other animal could touch. They were like living, breathing bulldozers, consuming vast quantities of foliage every single day. In doing so, they literally reshaped the ecosystems around them, clearing pathways through forests and influencing what kinds of plants could grow. Their sheer existence defined the landscape, but the prehistoric world was far from peaceful. For every colossal herbivore, there was a predator evolved to hunt it. And these were not just any predators. They were some of the most formidable hunters in the history of life. The most famous, of course, is Tyrannosaurus Rex. T-Rex wasn't just big, it was a biological weapon. Its jaws were filled with serrated teeth the size of bananas, and it could deliver a bite with a force so immense it could shatter bone. Its sense of smell was extraordinary, allowing it to track prey over vast distances. But T-Rex was just one of many terrifying carnivores. Raptors, like the famous Velociraptor, weren't the movie monsters you might imagine. They were actually feathered and about the size of a turkey. But they were far from harmless. They relied on their wicked sickle-shaped claws, their blistering speed, and most importantly, their intelligence. Evidence suggests they may have hunted in coordinated packs, a sophisticated strategy that allowed them to take down prey many times their own size. From the brute force of the T-Rex to the cunning of the raptors, dinosaurs demonstrated that they weren't just big. They were highly specialized, incredibly diverse, and ruthlessly efficient survivors. The dinosaurs' reign wasn't confined to the land. The skies and oceans of the Mesozoic era were just as full of incredible and terrifying creatures. Soaring above the plains were the pterosaurs, a group of flying reptiles that were cousins to the dinosaurs. These weren't birds, they were a completely different kind of flying animal. Early pterosaurs were small, but later species like the mighty Quetzalcoatlus became the largest flying creatures of all time. With a wingspan wider than an F-16 fighter jet, they would have been a truly awe-inspiring and frightening sight as they glided through the prehistoric sky. Meanwhile, beneath the waves, the oceans were home to their own set of monsters. Massive marine reptiles like the mosasaurs, a creature that could grow up to 60 feet long, sat at the absolute top of the marine food chain. It was an apex predator of the seas, armed with a double-hinged jaw and rows of conical teeth, hunting sharks, giant turtles, and even other marine reptiles. The entire planet, from the highest clouds to the deepest oceans, was a world of monsters. Then, about 66 million years ago, the world changed forever. An asteroid, estimated to be at least 6 miles wide, came screaming through the atmosphere and slammed into the planet in what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The impact was cataclysmic, unleashing energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. The initial blast triggered continent-sized wildfires and mega tsunamis that swept across the globe. But the immediate devastation was just the beginning. The impact threw so much dust, soot, and debris into the atmosphere that it shrouded the planet in darkness, blocking out the sun for months, maybe even years. This created a prolonged impact winter. Without sunlight, plants couldn't photosynthesize, and they died off on a massive scale. The entire global food chain collapsed from the bottom up. Herbivores starved, and then the carnivores that preyed on them starved. It was a mass extinction event of almost unimaginable proportions. Nearly 75% of all life on Earth was wiped out. The long, dominant reign of the dinosaurs had come to a sudden, violent, and tragic end, or so it seemed. But the story doesn't end there. In the midst of this global catastrophe, one group of dinosaurs managed to survive. They were a lineage of small, feathered theropods. We know them today as birds. That's right. Every single bird you see today, from the pigeon on the street to the eagle soaring in the sky, is a direct descendant of dinosaurs. They are living dinosaurs. Their feathers, which originally evolved for insulation and display in their larger ancestors, proved to be an advantage. Their small size meant they needed less food to survive the harsh post-impact world. Their beaks allowed them to access new food sources, like seeds and insects that were still available. While the giants perished, these small, adaptable survivors clung to life, and when the world began to recover, they flourished, diversifying into the 10,000-plus species of birds we know today. So, in a very real sense, the dinosaurs never truly went extinct, they just transformed. The age of dinosaurs never ended. It just learned how to fly. When you look at the grand scale of Earth's history, the story of the dinosaurs is truly humbling. They ruled this planet for a period of time that is almost impossible for our human minds to grasp, far longer than we have ever existed. Their legacy is all around us, a constant reminder of a lost world. It's in the fossils buried deep beneath our feet, stone echoes of their colossal skeletons, and it's in the birds that chirp outside our windows, living, breathing proof that life is resilient, adaptable, and full of surprises. The rulers of Earth are gone, but their descendants still fill our skies. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please like, subscribe, and join us again here at Mind Shock Vaults.